No, I'm going to be talking about men's mental health. I'm just going to be talking about the history and the reason why men are told to man up, not cry, don't show no emotions, etc., etc. All throughout time, men have been the ones going to war. And on the battlefield, you don't want weak men fighting. You want strong men. Imagine if a man said, I don't want to disarm the bomb, I'm too scared, or I don't want to fight. If everyone just stops fighting, the world will be better, etc., etc. Then you have lost the war because the other side, well, they have this thing called toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is important during times of war. You needed men to be strong. You needed men to not be scared. You needed men who didn't cry. You needed toxic masculinity. The reason I bring up war is because this country's whole entire history is war. From the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, Mexican-American War. The First World War, the Great Depression, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam. What do you think was going to happen? They brought, people brought home this type of mentality of men at war, of do not cry. Now, World War I, through the Great Depression to World War II, the people or the kids that were born in World War I fought in World War II. That was a back-to-back war, back-to-back. There was no breaks in between, all right? That's our whole entire, country's history is war and fighting. And who fought in all those wars? It wasn't women. It was us. We had to, The men from those wars brought home trauma and PTSD, and most importantly, the mindset of men at war. And this doesn't stop with them. It has led to generational trauma, and this continues to this day. This mindset is pivotal for war, but it is not for a peaceful society. So many young men are told to hide their emotions. We are told this not just from men, but also women. All of this has led to an overwhelming stigma and why 80% of suicide cases are men. In the world of survival, many men feel that no one listens to them or even cares to listen, or they listen and use their words against them. Cultural changes need to happen, but it won't happen overnight. So where do we begin? We need role models, men who can tell young men that they can open up. They need to prioritize self-care and that seeking help is not a weakness. We need men to lead, We need men who are successful to guide the younger men. Because men, we want to feel needed. If you don't feel needed, then when nobody cares about your feelings, well, this is what happens. I told you, I want to be just like him, I want to come in here with a suit, you know what I'm saying? Give y'all some knowledge. Guide the young men. That's the type of man that I want to be, and especially I want to be that type of example for my future, my future family. So, I really do want to be a role model for the kids in this city to, and especially for young men, because a lot of young men, we're giving up. We're not going to college. We're just sitting at home playing video games all day. We're not doing nothing. We're giving up. It's sad, to be honest. It's very sad. Also, people like these philosophers, old philosophers back in time, Socrates, Charles Darwin, and Confucius. No, some of these men weren't, the most rich. They weren't warlords, They wasn't kicking down walls and all that. They just spoke their mind. They spoke and guided other men to be better leaders. And, that's what we need right now. Because if men are just sitting at home not doing nothing, then, we need somebody to guide us. That's what we need. We really need it. And that's what we're doing at SFUSD with Bring Change to Mind. Yeah, that's it. There's a multitude of, multitude of factors that plays into this, but it's so many layers. There's so many layers that you can't even really fix this in about, a couple days or a couple years. This is it's a long thing, Just like I said, with war and needing toxic masculinity for that, where do we draw the line with men expressing themselves and having to live in a peaceful society? And then when all hell breaks loose, then what? And I'm still trying to find that answer. How can we balance this? Because that's what we need is balance. We don't need a complete one side, because when you have one side, then the scale tips over, and then you're a dictatorship. So
we're doing this together, Romeo.
Yeah, you're right. Also, not caring about men's emotions is one thing, but also one other important factor is relationships, and then also motivation for men. I feel like a lot of men are giving up because they don't have no motivation. They don't have no leader. The motivation, where it comes from for me, is that I get to support my family. Now, a lot of dudes are out here, we're lonely, we have nobody to talk to. I'm pretty like that's true for a lot of us. We say that we have friends, but when you call them, they don't pick up. When you tell them about stuff, they don't listen. They're like, it's whatever. They cheated, whatever now. Who cares, That's what we get. And what really motivates a man is a family. And if we're all just getting married at later ages, then, no young man is going to go to work and just work for themselves. When you have a family, you have some, you have a reason to get up and go to work. Otherwise, you just go to work just to make some money. But no, making that money is meant for your family. But making the money now is just, just for yourself, because people don't really need you no more. Since, before it was men who were going out and, getting the jobs and providing for family, But now that women could also do it, where does that leave us men? Because we had a purpose, so what is our purpose now? And I really thought about that for a long time. What is my purpose? And to be honest, I still don't know. But I feel like now I have some type of understanding, and it's to be the best version of myself. So, because I could still be a provider, nothing is stopping me from that. People, women also going to work. That's not stopping me from being a provider. That's not stopping people from being like, yeah, I need him. He's a strong leader. That's not stopping me. So, when I thought it over, I'm like, I'm tripping too much, I'm thinking about it too much. I got to chill out. So, now my reason for wanting to travel, as Drew said, is that when you get to, experience different cultures, you meet different people, and, very pleasant experience. But anyway, whatever. See y'all later.